The answer to that is really, really simple. You just ask them. You just ask them. So the way that you go about this is, you just heard me say, I create a sacred space, right? So I create, if I see like a light box and it has very strong boundaries. I go through a whole process of creating this space, securing this space, letting my intention be known and carried out there to the universe, that I'm interested only in the spirit guides that have either my best interest and my highest good at the forefront of their intention, or those of my clients that I happen to be working with in the space, either in person or through distance like this. Okay, so once you're in there, because you want to make sure that you're not getting a spirit clown in there that's just giving you random information because they want to engage, right? So that's usually a low level entity or spirit that really isn't going to be serving you. They're really serving themselves. So this is why we go through the process, and I say, be careful, right? Be careful. So when you are in some sacred space that you've created for yourself and you feel very comfortable, that you've got good, strong boundaries, then you can begin to, call upon your spirit counselor or a spirit guide, or even ask for a spirit guide. If you are sure that you have one and you want to deepen the relationship by personalizing it, by having a name that you can use to speak to the spirit guide or to call on them, when you're in there, you can just ask them. Now, you have to be careful here, because you need to be able to differentiate between the multiple guides that may show up. And the best way that I can explain this to you is that, if you couldn't see, or you were blinded for a minute by the sun or whatever, and you walked into a room, you could very quickly be able to tell if you're in a room with children, with a group of men, maybe a group of women, a mixed group, whether if you walked into a group of strangers, because the vibe is different. And the vibe is different for each of your spirit guides, to the point that you'll feel that vibration in your life and in situations, and you'll instantly know which guide is present. Okay, so you'll understand and be able to identify your spirit guides by their vibration. And if you want to, you can also give them a name, but the name isn't necessary. Like, the name isn't necessary to identify them. Once you understand, the difference between their vibe and another guide's vibe, all in service to you. By the way, if you get real good at it, you'll be able to figure out when there's a vibe in the room that doesn't have your best interest at heart, and needs to be booted out, okay, or not paid any attention to. So you can, however, work with your spirit guide and ask if you can assign a name to them. Some spirit guides, they don't have a name. They don't work that way. That's not their orientation. That's our orientation. We like to name and categorize everything and everybody and everything. And for them, not so important, not so much, right? They exist as a vibration, right? So they recognize each other as vibrations. But if you want to, you can ask them. Well, they might, you might even hear them say, "What would you like to call me?" Because I have one like that. I had one like that. One of my guides who I would see regularly, it felt like an ethereal figure, right? Doesn't have mass, but has form. Kind of androgynous. Can't really figure out the features. But this is somebody who's fairly ever present. And so I went in and asked if I could call this person, or this spirit guide, a certain name, and they said whatever. But the point is that you don't use the same name for another guide as well, right? So it's assigned to them, they accept it, and then you call them in, right? So for example, if you are doing a lot of spirit guide work with the Archangel Michael, be sure to say Archangel Michael instead of just, I'm calling on Michael, right? Because particularly if Michael is also one of your guides, right? So you have to be able to differentiate between them. Faster service if you do, less confusion if you do, more clarity if you do. Okay, those are the reasons why. So it is possible to do it. Now, if you have not ever taken it's really like a class, like it's a video where I help you meet a spirit guide. Send me a message, DM me, or you could put it below as well, and I'll send you the opt-in for that, so that you can go through the process of meeting a spirit guide. And in that process, you can practice this. What can I call you, or what is your name? All right, and it's easy to do. It's not very long, and you can repeat it as often as you like. Right, meet your spirit guides. I also have an online course called Connecting with Your Spirit Guides, which goes really deep into this topic, so that you can work with your multiple spirit guides and understand how that works and how to get that rolling for yourself. Okay, but I have a very quick opt-in called Meet Your Spirit Guides that I'd be happy to share with you for those of you that are interested in having that experience.